Hi everybody, good morning. Today is Friday, September 3rd. This is actually, I counted them, so for those of you that are my subscribers, you'll know I don't. This is actually Flosstube number 46. My name is Amy, and I'm here on YouTube as A Little Farm Quilts. I'm on Instagram as @ALittleFarmQuilts, and I have a Facebook page also, A Little Farm Quilts. This is a floss tube that primarily is cross stitch. Today it will have a little bit of quilting, and sometimes, probably sooner rather than later, you will see some knitting as I live in upstate New York and we are getting into the fall weather, and I will be back into my knitting projects that I started last year. I also have a goal with my knitting, which I'll talk about hopefully at the end. Let me make a note. I actually made notes today so that I can stay on task and tell you everything I want to tell you. These videos may become shorter. My goal is to attempt a weekly update, if for no other reason than to track my stitching for myself and for my kids. Yeah, I've been doing floss tubes for a couple of years now. I don't know when my floss tube anniversary is. I don't keep track of that kind of stuff, but I like doing them. I'm here in my sewing room, as you can tell. I have in the room with me my cockatiel, who she's being fairly quiet right now, but she may pipe up, and if she does, I will have to pause the video and move her because she gets kind of loud and it's hard to talk around her. She demands attention. Let's see, I have life update next, because I do involve life updates in my floss tubes. I know some people don't like to listen to them, and if you don't, you can just fast forward till you see me hold up a cross stitch. But I think life has a lot to do with my stitching and what I'm stitching and how I'm stitching and how I approach my stitching. So I include life updates. I am, for those of you that don't know or are new to my channel, I'm a nursing instructor at a local college. I am attending Empire State University to obtain my master's in nursing education. I am an empty nester with my husband of 26 years. We are getting ready to go on a camping trip this weekend because this is Labor Day weekend, and I happen to have Fridays off this semester, so he's working half day today. I'm filming this floss tube, and then we are getting ready to pull out of Dodge for a few days, so we are looking forward to that with our 11-month-old now. He'll be 11 months tomorrow. Yellow lab puppy Ralph. We're leaving the geriatric puppies home this weekend and just taking Ralph to kind of give the older ones a little bit of a break. My daughter's going to come take care of them. I have my coffee. It is, I don't even know what time in the morning it is. I took Ralph for a walk this morning. Life is busy. I have a goal with the floss tubes to try to do a weekly or so update to keep the video shorter, which will shorten our upload time, and to track my stitching a little better. I'm kind of all over the place. I made some decisions about my stitching lately over the last couple months or so, and if you've been watching my videos, this is not going to shock you at all. I don't do really good at, like I tried Whip Go this year, I didn't stick to that. 21,000 stitches in 2021 with Full Coverage Fanatics. I have not stuck with that. I did do it for probably through April, and then I kind of got out of that. I basically want to stitch what I want to stitch. My life is very busy with teaching and being in school myself. I'm trying to be better this semester at either going to work early or staying late to work on schoolwork so that it doesn't bleed so much into my home stitching time. Boundaries, I guess, right? Boundaries. I enjoy, for the most part, being back in school. Some of it's annoying, but I like learning new things. I think nursing is a constant quest of learning, so it's good with that. However, it takes a lot of time, and I like my stitching time. It's good for my mental health. We're still dealing with COVID and the ramifications of that in healthcare. Last video, I was feeling really discouraged about mankind because I had just seen a lot of just unkindness to lots of people. I'm feeling better about stuff today. I think that for my husband and I, we're just going to extend kindness where we can and help where we can. See a need, fill a need, and we're kind of gonna go with that. And we are truly blessed. We live a nice life. I stitch what I want when I want, sew what I want when I want, knit what I want when I want. We're planning a cross-country trip in our camper next July. We will be traveling for the whole month. So we're truly blessed, and we just want to pass that forward, I think. So we're just going to work on that kind of stuff in regards to that. If you listened to my rant last time, thank you. You know, I think everybody gets into places sometimes where they just get truly frustrated. That's where I was, and thanks for listening, and we're just going to work at making things a little better. Husband is working in the next room, so if you hear muffled voices, that's him. Ralph, the aforementioned lamb, is laying right outside the door. Matter of fact, I could hear the door when he laid against it, so may hear some noises. It's real life in our household, people. And I just saw something I forgot to grab, so I'm grabbing it. Okay. That's life update. Let's talk about what I stitched on this week. Last video, I said my plans were to stitch on Modern Folk Embroidery and try to get it caught up. I had picked Emily's House as another whip to focus on. And I had also stated that I was going to pull out my, is it Lost No More by Dimensions as my full coverage focus. Which reminds me, I think I forgot to grab something. Hold please, stay there. Because I don't want to edit this video. Oh, good, I grabbed it. So you guys all saw me in my walking shorts. I took Ralph for a walk this morning. Anyway, so that's what I've kind of been doing. I have Christmas Quaker that I work on every 24th and 25th of every month. I have the Modern Folk Embroidery that I've been working on. And then I've been picking a full coverage and another whip. So I have 4 things that I allow myself to work on for however long I feel like I need to, and then I'll switch off. So this week I did work on Modern Folk Embroidery, and I just took it out of the hoop. So as you guys know, I stitch with a small hoop. I've tried a ton of other ways. I put it in Q-snaps. I just find them very cumbersome. I always go back to, I have 2 of these hoops. One's a little larger than the other, and that's what I've been using. This is being stitched on 36 count porcelain by Lakeside Linen. And this is where I am. I'm almost done with June. Matter of fact, I think I only have this bottom corner right here. I think I only have a couple hundred stitches left right in here. And I, this morning, was stitching on it and stitched over 300 just sitting there over my coffee this morning. So I stitched pretty fast on this. I'm hoping the light, it's cloudy here this morning, so I put my light on. So I'm hoping you all can see that. You'll have to comment below and let me know. I am still loving this. I'm still 36 and 40 count fabric is my jam. Sometimes I'm stitching 1/2, sometimes I'm stitching 2/2. And I'm using, just a reminder, I am using a Sulky variegated. It's 4016. It's called Peacock, I believe. I've ordered 2 more spools of this. It's very cool. Let's see, there you go. Very cool, and I'm loving it. I'm using 1 strand of that. The blue I'm using is DMC, I should know these by heart by now. I think it's 823. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, 823 blue. And there are times when I'm using 37.99, which is my my go-to gray. I've used that. For those of you who watch me, you probably know where I've used that. I used it, let's see, in January's in the pot. This is $37.99. I'm trying to get you out of that shadow. There you go. Where else did I use it? In the middle here, I used it in the crown over the heart. So I'm just kind of picking places right there to use it and trying to balance it out in the piece. It is going well. I mean, I'm still just finishing June and September's release just came out. So I have this whole third row will be July, August, September. And I think I may work it across, if you know what I mean. I think I may go between them and try to just finish working these side motifs in the center and work them all as one piece and try to get this puppy caught up. The only reason I'm not caught up is because I stitch other things. If I stayed solely onto this, I would have it all caught up, but that's not how I roll, and it's okay. It's okay. I still would love to have it finished by the end of the year. But if it's not, it's not. You know what I mean? It is what it is. The second whip I worked on was Emily's House by Lindy Stitches. I'm using some of the called for, some substitutes from my stash. If anybody's interested in my substitutions as I progress, I'd be happy to publish it. Let's get this needle to stay in here. Let's see. I worked on the house. The house. I should have like a design board here to put behind it so you can see. Oh, I have one right here. So let's do this. Let's hold it up like this. See if this works. So I worked on the house. Sorry about the wrinkles. I do not iron things. So I worked on the roof. Got all but the fourth section over here done. I filled in the house. And I gotta tell you, I love working on this. Love it, love it, love it. It's on 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus. I don't know if you guys run into the same thing. I find some fabric dyers I can stitch in hand and some I can't. So Lakeside Linen, I like using a hoop, and I do mainly the sewing method. Mainly the sewing method, sometimes poke and stab. It depends. Emily's House, because it's on Ren by Picture This Plus. Picture This Plus fabric, I can stitch in hand most of the time. It has a little bit of substance to it. Lakeside Linen is a little, I don't want to say flimsy, but you know what I mean, thinner, like has less structure to it. So I tend to want to put that in a hoop just for tension issues on my stitches. This I can stitch in hand, and honestly, there's parts of this that I stitched in a hoop, part of it I stitched in hand, and I'm gonna put it real close. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can't tell. And that's what I love about Picture This Plus fabric. Now, that being said, that's not the Fabric of the Month club I belong to, because I also like other fabric dyers. So, but that's my progress on Emily's House. I hate to even show you this next one because Lost No More. Sorry, you're going to hear tractors because I live out in the country and they are working very hard at getting their fields in right now. So you're going to hear tractors. I almost hesitate to show you this because honestly, I don't think I might have put 100 stitches in this. I'm just not feeling this one, and I've gotten to the point where I'm just not forcing myself to do it. I think with this one, the chart's from the 90s, it's old, it's paper, it's hard to read, and it's not super fun to stitch on. And I've tried putting it in my copier and enlarging it, and it's better. I'm still just not feeling super motivated to stitch on it, and I have no idea why. But anyway, this is Lost No More by Dimensions Gold. It's a kit that I started back in the 90s. It is my oldest whip, and it may never be done. It's stitched on all the called for, the kit fabric, the kit floss. And I think I only put, I'm going to show you the whole thing. Now, excuse all the threads. I do park on this one just because the chart's such a pain to read. This is where I am. I worked solely in here. Working, I don't even think you can see those stitches. Let me move like here, right in here. And the light part of his sleeve, and some over here. I seriously, if I put 100 stitches in that, that's a lot. I think I'm putting this one away for right now because I think what happened was I worked on it great guns the first few months trying to get the 21,000 in 2021, thinking I could get close to a finish, and I think doing that just burns me out on a piece. So I tend to, I don't, unless I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I have to tell you, there's pieces that I thoroughly enjoy and I could stitch on them 8 hours a day. And then there's pieces that if I have to stitch on it, I will. And that Lost No More is one of those pieces. So I have no idea how I'm going to address that other than to take a break from it right now and maybe pull it back out in October and force myself to do 1 or 2 strands a day on it. And because I would like to have it done. I do like the piece. And I'd love to have it framed and up in my house. I have no idea why I'm having such a struggle stitching on it. And I've got so much done on it. Sometimes I think it's the fabric, it's Aida, which Aida's fine. I have nothing against Aida. It's just not my jam anymore. So I love 36 and 40 count linen. I think if I didn't have as much done on it as I have, I would start it over on 36 count linen 1/2. But you know, I started this in the 90s, so a long time ago. And I don't know. I keep going back and forth whether to pitch it or not, and I'm not ready to do that. I think I need to stay the course and force myself to work on it from time to time. But we'll see. I'm taking a break from it for now, though. That's not the full coverage I'm going to focus on next. The other one that I worked on this week, as you guys know, I'll take it out of the bag so you don't have a glare, is Quaker Christmas by Bygone Stitches. I started this on the 24th of July. It was I think my only, no, I had a couple of other starts in July. I'm stitching on this the 24th and 25th of every month. The 24th to signify Christmas Eve, the 25th for Christmas. And I'm stitching with Gail's Golden Needle. She started, Gail, I'm sorry, I forgot what you started. She started a Christmas stitch too, and we are both stitching on ours the 24th and 25th of every month. I'm stitching this on 40 count Tyco linen by Picture This Plus. One of my favorites. I am not using the call for. I am using my green is 935, which is a kind of, you can't tell there, a nice mossy green. My red is Classic Colorworks Cherry Cobbler, and my gold is Gold Leaf by Gentle Arts. I'm trying to put these away as I'm talking to you too, but we'll see how that goes. And this is where I've gotten to. Look at that. I finished this motif, did this one, did this little teeny one right there, and I started this one just in a couple days. And this is, again, 40 count Tyco linen by Picture This Plus. You know, everybody has their preferences as far as fabric, and I have to tell you, Picture This Plus is definitely my happy place. I also love the Stitch Me's fabric, which we'll get into in a second. I'm going to put this away. So this will come back out the 24th and 25th of this month. This is one that stays at my stitchy table all the time, so I remember to pull it out. And that is the rest. That was the only whips. That's 4 whips. That's what I worked on. So let's go to Stitchy Kindness. Let's do Stitchy Kindness next, shall we? So I belong to a Facebook group, Unicorn Charts. And I put out there that I really wanted to obtain the original chart for Queen of Freedom by Mirabilia. I had purchased way back, this is before I knew all the stuff about cross-stitching and copyrights and all that stuff. I had purchased a PDF version off eBay. And then when I went to stitch it, I kitted it all up. The PDF version was not accurate. And it was pirated, and it was obviously so, like I bought it back when I didn't know about that stuff. Then when I opened it up to start it, I looked at the chart and was like, oh, wait a minute. This is not right. So I was kind of disappointed because I really wanted to stitch it. I put it out on that Facebook page. I had no hopes, really, that anybody was going to give that up, so to speak. They're selling on eBay for an exorbitant amount of money, and I just feel bad for that because that means somebody's it's opportunistic, I believe. I think the community is better than that, and I think the people that are selling them at that price are not part of our stitching community, I'm thinking. That's just my opinion. They could very well be, I don't know, but they're selling patterns for like $150 and up. That's kind of crazy. So anyway, I put this out on the Facebook page, had no hopes that anybody would contact me. I was actually contacted by 2 people. One person contacted me and said she had the chart, and I didn't get permission to say her name, so I'm not going to say it, but if she's watching, thank you, because you know who you are. And I'm going to try not to get choked up when I talk about why this chart's important to me. But she contacted me, and I asked her how much she'd like for it, that I'd be happy to pay for it. She said she had a copy, and she wanted to send it to me. I asked her how much she'd like for it. She said, I just need your address. And I had a second person contact me that was willing to ship theirs to me so I could make a working copy so that I could stitch it and then send it back. I said, thank you very much, but I'd hate if something happened to that in shipping. And so I don't really want to do that because then I would feel responsible if something happened to your pattern in shipping. So anyway, the first person that contacted me sent me her chart. I sent her my address, and honestly, I wasn't sure whether it was a person or if it was a scam or what was going on, but this chart is so important to me, which I'll tell you about in a minute, that I was willing to risk it. Then she sends me tracking information, and it's here literally 3 days later. She sent me the complete original chart for Queen of Freedom. So I first saw this chart with Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts when she was stitching it, and I fell in love with it. If you've watched me long enough, you know I'm a veteran. My daughter and son-in-law are currently serving in the armed forces. My dad was an Army veteran. I feel very strongly and proud of being American, even though America struggles at times with stuff. I'm proud to be an American, and I'm proud that our country keeps going through growing pains and learning, and I'm proud that I served even though I was young and stupid when I did, and that made me a better person. And so I'm extremely thankful that time. I'm extremely sensitive to things like what has happened at the Kabul airport in Afghanistan. Like I said, my daughter and son-in-law are serving. So this chart, to me, embodies what America is at its heart. Even though we struggle, even though we grow, and we have growing pains that sometimes seem insurmountable, we always overcome. We always get through, and we persevere. And this chart became something that symbolized that to me. And it may not mean that much to everybody else, but to me, this is a big deal. So the woman who sent it to me, I am so grateful. I can't even tell you how grateful I am. And it almost seems ridiculous to get choked up over a cross-stitch chart. But of all the charts I'm stitching, this one means a lot. And to that end, I am starting it on September 11th, and I will stitch on the 11th of every month to help me pause my brain and remember what happened on the 11th of September, and of all the lives that have been lost to fight for the freedom of these United States. So that's what I'm doing. I'm starting this the 11th. So I think that's next week. Come heck or high water, I'm starting. Even if it's only 2 stitches I get in that day. I have to look and see what day of the week that is. Wednesdays and Thursdays are very long work days for me, but I'm gonna see when the 11th is. I'm gonna start this on the 11th. So that being said, I already had all the called for kitted. So I have that here kitted. At the moment, I have this fabric. It calls for 32 count country French latte. I believe this is 32 count. Is it? Oh, let me look for the tag here just a second. I know the tag has to be in here, right? I have the beads and everything in here. Yes. This is 30 count linen by the Primitive Hair, and it's called We the People. We the People. And I am going to stitch her on this 30 count. I understand the stitches will be bigger. I understand the beading might look different on her on 30 count than 32, but I don't think there'll be that much of a difference that it will look funny. So that's what I'm doing. I already have the center marked out with my needle. The center of her head will go right there. And we are gonna stitch her up. I'm excited. So I've learned from my first chatelaine that I'm working on that I'm going to do all the cross stitch first and then bead her, because I work in a hoop. Just will work out better. I'm having issues with my first chatelaine because of that. I'm now taking it off the scroll frame because I find it extraordinarily irritating, and I'm working on it with a hoop, but I think I might have to remove some beading in order to do that. So that's it. That is my only plan start right now for September. So my plans going forward. So I have to choose what I'm taking to camp. I think I'm going to leave Modern Folk Embroidery and Emily's house in my stitching right now. And then I have the Christmas Quaker that I will work on the 24th and 25th. I have the Mirabilia, which I will start on the 11th. But I'm switching out my full coverage focus to something different. And I think I'm taking this along with the Modern Folk Embroidery to camp this weekend. I don't know how much stitching I will get done, but oh. Okay, so what do I do here? Oh, okay, now that I know what I did. So I've restarted this a couple of times. I'm trying to find my jam as far as full coverage pieces go. Right now, like 2/2 full cross on 28 count mushroom Lugana for this one. I don't know. I haven't gotten very far. I'm not sure, but I think I like the mushroom Lugana with this one. Sorry, I should show it to you first. This is Botted in the Rain by Leonid Afremov, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I have started this now 3 times. I think I'm sticking to this. This is on 28 count, mushroom Lugana, restarted. I have just a little bit of the top right hand corner. I'm doing it 2/1 full cross. No, am I doing full cross? It looks like full cross. Nope, it is half stitches. So we'll see if I end up keeping it on that or if I go back to one of my other starts and work on it. We'll see. I was kind of wanting to not have it on white fabric. That was the thing. I had a lot of stuff showing up through the fabric that I didn't care for. No, I'm doing 2/2 full cross. So I don't know. I may pull that out today after I get the camper packed and really see if I'm feeling that or not. But I think that and Modern Folk Embroidery is going with me to camp. And that's the full coverage that I'm putting into my rotation for at least right now. All right, I have a little bit of haul. Oh, the other plan I have is the Nightmare Before Christmas sale put on by Stitch Story. The frame dropped on September 1st, and I think I'm going to stitch that. I have not pulled fabric, and I need to pull some 310. Maybe that'll go with me to camp, since that's probably easier to deal with than the full coverage. And then Bonnet by the Rain will go into my focus as far as full coverage. I don't know. Stay tuned. See what I decide when I get the camper loaded. Let's see. I am part of Beach Stitch Me's Fabric of the Month. This, I get 36 count linen. This one I get an 18 by 27 inch piece every month. This one's called Garden Party. It's greens and oranges, it looks like, and peaches. I have to tell you, this is not really my jam. However, I'm going to find something to stitch on it. And I'm going to find like a monochromatic, I think, to stitch on this. Because it'll pull me out of my comfort zone, and I do like the fabric a lot. So I like Be Stitch Me's fabric a lot. But I got that. I'm also part of her Silk Club of the Month. So we got, I think it's 5. This is my first shipment of the silks. Yep, 5. So I'm gonna get my board. So I can show you. I had seen this. I have lots of Flosstubers show her silks, and I just like, I like the combos, and so there you go. I think this one, I go for the more muted colors, so this light sagey green is probably my favorite, but here they are. Let's see if I can get the light right. The light is harsh today, guys, sorry. And that's my only haul, really. I did order a hank of silk from Silks for You, but that will take for several weeks for me to get here. And I do have a special color fabric from Be Stitch Me on order that should be here, I don't know, relatively soon, I would think. And that is it for my cross stitching. I have a little bit of quilty haul. So if you don't want to see that, it's only going to take like 2 seconds. You can peace out, it's fine. But I've been working on, as you can see right here, Tula Pink, the Nebula quilt. Let me pull out my thing here. It was a block of the month through Fat Quarter Shop. That's what I've been working on. I am behind. This is, I think, blocks 1 through 4, which are 2 blocks each one, so that's 8 blocks. I've got 6 cut out. I've got 5 here to cut out because I got out of order. I have fabric downstairs to starch for the remainder of the blocks. And then what I got this last week was the finishing kit and the label. So I haven't opened this up yet either. Let's open this up so I can show you the fabrics. I'm a Tula Pink lover, so this is one of the fabrics. This is one of the fabrics. I have a whole collection of Tula Pink fabric. I like the bright colors. Some of the fabrics. So I'm excited to get this party started and get this quilt finished now, because now I've got the finishing kit, and that tends to drive me to the end. I am not doing any more block of the months. This mainly because I have a lot of quilts planned that I would like to do that I already have fabric starched and ready to cut, and some is cut out, and I would just like to get working on those. My long arm is out of commission right now. It needs a repair. I keep trying to remember to call the repair people and I keep forgetting. Try to remember to do that today before I go. And then we also got this quilt label with the kit. Isn't it pretty? And I'm going to sew that on the backing and write my name on it. So we've got that. And that's it. We're getting cooler weather here, so the knitting will come out shortly. Other than that, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. My channel is small but mighty, and I appreciate you for coming back. So if you're a longtime subscriber, thank you for hanging with me through the ups and downs. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you enjoyed what you see. Yeah. Everybody have a good week, and hopefully I'll see you next week.